It is an amazing day for Yu-Gi-Oh! As we get to watch an epic live match in this YCS Lockdown tournament in Zoodiac versus Sky Strikers. Zoodiac taking the opportunity to go first. Fire Formation Tenki is going to allow them to search a level 4 lore Beast Warrior monster from their deck to their hand. The monster of choice is Zoodiac Rapier, which means that Zoodiac can go full one-card combo with just the single Rapier. It is pretty exciting to show you guys Zoodiac in 2020, as it does almost the exact same things that it did back in 2017. The only difference between Zoodiac of then and Zoodiac and now is that Link monsters are incredibly powerful, and the fact that you can special summon your Exceed monsters into your main monster zone. Zoodiac Chakanine is going to special summon the Ram, and then Zoodiac Dryden on top of the Chakanine is going to destroy the Ram, triggering Ram's effect to be able to special summon Chakanine back to the side of the field. Dryden later Exceed summon a Tiger Motor, and now Tiger Motor is going to attach to the Chakanine, allowing Chakanine to be able to detach again to special summon. The fact that this card is not a hard once per turn is incredible. But now that Zoodiac has 3 Exceed monsters on their side of the field, they're going to use all 3 of them for a link summon into the all-powerful Infinite Track Fortress Mega Clocks. This card is amazingly powerful against most strategies because it's unaffected by other monster effects unless they're an Exceed. So meaning, if you are playing a monster-heavy deck that has so many destruction capabilities, you're going to have a hard time getting over a 4,000 attack monster that's unaffected by your opponent's monster effects. Zoodiac's main goal is to be able to get into that one-card combo, make either a Zoodiac Dryden or Infinite Track Mega Clocks, and the rest of the cards in their hand, they can do with whatever they desire. And it just so happens that Zoodiac is going to follow up with a Pot of Desires, allowing them to banish 10 cards from the top of their deck to gain 2 additional resources. Now, cards like Pot of Desires are amazing inside of this deck because the strategy, outside of losing Zoodiac monsters, doesn't really matter. You gain additional disruption cards, and that's something that Zoodiac always will look for. Taking a step further, Zoodiac is going to use Pot of Avarice. Whoa! They're going to procure 4 additional cards throughout the entirety of the turn against a matchup that is all about the battle of attrition. These 2 decks love to grind it out, so being able to get as many resources as possible is going to be critical. Now, I know what you guys are thinking, CaliEffect, what exactly is this YCS Lockdown tournament you were just talking about? Well, the YCS Lockdown tournament is a tournament between 16 decks that you guys get to decide. We post live duels every Tuesday and every weekend, so you guys get to see some of the most exciting games on YouTube. That and, oh man, this tournament is nothing but saucy. So many awesome decks, so many awesome moments. And of course, it's nothing without you guys, the fans, so I appreciate you guys. Sky Striker being able to start off his turn, they're going to start off with Terraforming, but it's going to be met with an Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. Pretty good reasoning, as if Terraforming wasn't allowed to resolve, Sky Striker could possibly get a Mystic Mine, and then start halting Zoodiac into a grind so they can procure their resources. Foolish Burial is going to find a Sky Striker Ace Ray, and now Sky Striker's game plan is going to be to break this board. But the way that they do their type of summoning is methodical, kind of like Zoodiac, but they gain resources in addition to summoning their monsters, whereas Zoodiac kind of just wants to summon additional monsters and attach more material. Sky Striker following up with a Pot of Desires on their own. They're going to be able to try to keep up with that card economy, banishing 10 cards from their top of the deck to draw 2 cards is almost the exact same. And it's pretty cool about the comparison of these 2 decks. Zoodiac is a 1-card Exceed deck, where Sky Striker is a 1-card Link deck. There are so many similar comparisons in this matchup, it's almost like playing the mirror match with one another. So 2 additional cards are procured by Sky Strikers, and I know what you guys are probably thinking, you want to see deck profiles. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the deck profiles are exclusive to Patreon, but that doesn't mean that people that aren't Patreons can't watch. They are timed exclusives, meaning that in due time, everyone will be able to see it. But for right now, Patreon members are able to see both deck profiles. Foolish Burial Goods being able to send a Metalfoes Fusion from the deck to the graveyard. A lot of players have moved away from the Metalfoes Fusion concept, but in theory, it's still really good in the Sky Striker strategy. Yes, you won't be able to use the effect of Mobilize Engage to draw an additional card, but all of your other Sky Striker cards still have secondary effects that are critical in the card game. You want to be able to pop off with those secondary effects because you essentially get 2 card effects in one, and you can always keep recycling it back to your hand for later use. So Sky Striker drawing that card off of Metal Foes Fusion's effect. They're going to follow up with a card that Sky Striker players normally don't play in Sky Striker Maneuver Scissors Cross. That's going to special summon that Sky Striker Ace Ray back to the side of the field. Because there is 3 spell cards in the graveyard, that's very much possible. Ray can now morph into a Sky Striker Link monster to proceed to give Sky Strikers a little bit more advantage. Sky Striker Ace Ray being used for a Link summon, it's probably going to make Sky Striker Ace Hayate, as Kagari doesn't have any genuine targets. That's exactly what is going to happen. Hayate is going to hit the field. They can swing for 1500 damage directly and also be able to send a Sky Striker spell card from their deck to the graveyard. This time around, I think their choice is going to be a Sky Striker Maneuver Afterburner. And Sky Strikers actually have a really good matchup against Zoodiacs, or a lot better of a matchup than people think. Because while your Megalocops is unaffected by monster effects, it can still much be very affected by cards like Afterburner and Widow Anchor, making Sky Strikers a little easier to deal with this certain card. Now, we did ask the community on what did they think would be the winner of this outcome, and it is heavily favored in Zoodiac, so Sky Strikers are definitely the underdog, but I like to personally say that these decks are a lot more even-keeled than what players think. Sky Strikers did lose Engage, but Zoodiacs don't have Broad Bull. Their main searcher cards are both banned on the Forbidden List. There's so many similarities between these strategies, I think it'd be really hard-pressed to find a legitimate outcome. So, exciting to see Infinite Impermanence being activated on Sky Striker Ace Kagari, preventing that maneuvers from being added from the graveyard to the hand. Sky Strikers are now going to follow up with 2 cards face down, and that might be the end of their turn. No, it looks like actually a smarter move is going to be made. Kagari is going to be morphed into Sky Striker Ace Shizuku. That will allow them to add a Sky Striker card that is not in the graveyard. If we can remember correctly, there is a Maneuver Scissors Cross, and an Afterburner. So of course Afterburner couldn't be added, but Jamming Waves could be added, or a Widow Anchor, which would both affect Infinite Track Megalocops. Sky Striker Mecha Widow Anchor is going to be the card of target. It's going to be really hard for Zoodiacs to play around that card, as it could snatch the Infinite Track Megalocops, and while they can't use its effect to special summon an Exceed monster from the graveyard to the side of the field, it is 4,000 attack. Speaking of Megalocops, actually, this is where Megalocops has an advantage over Sky Strikers or Zoodiacs themselves. The cool thing about Sky Strikers is, one thing it ran into the graveyard, getting over those Sky Striker lanes can become a pain, because Ray would hit the field and then Ray can use its effect to tribute itself to summon another Sky Striker, but Megalocops actually goes around all of that. It can just attach the Suzuku currently on the field as material. Zoodiac's using Fire Formation Tenki. The second time around, it looks like they may have to add a different Zoodiac, seeing that Rat Peers at 1. Actually, no. They Pot of Avarice. They can add Rat Peers from their decks to their hand. This time around, I can assume they'll use Rat Peer to send Zoodiac combo. And no, it looks like I may be wrong again, as Zoodiac Whiptail is going to be the card of choice. No need for additional advantage this time, maybe just trying to swing for the jugular. Now again, Megalocops can get rid of that Sky Striker Ace Shizuku, so Zoodiacs is definitely looking to put as much damage as possible. Unfortunately, due to Megalocops, Zoodiacs won't be able to hit for deadly. They need to put 16,000 damage since all damage is halved. But Chakanine on top of Borbo will find a Broad Bull or a Ram back to the side of the field. This is going to put Zoodiacs in the driver's seat, as they can potentially go for another Megalocops. Sky Striker has enough of all of this summoning. They're going to go ahead and respond with there can be only one. This is going to be solid, as this is going to prevent Zoodiac monsters from summoning additionally. Now I know you guys probably will want a ruling on there can be only one, and I'll be able to provide a brief one in this match. So even if you do control a monster and you are attempting to summon a monster on top of that monster that is the same type, you cannot. So for example, Zoodiac monsters cannot be placed on top of Chaka 9. He can't exceed summon again because of there can be only one. You can't attempt to summon a monster of the same type that you currently have. So the game plan is going to be getting over this there can be only one, and a monster reborn is going to be activated on Zoodiac. So you can't necessarily special summon a Beast Warrior or Machine monster to the side of the field, but it looks like it's going to be using Sky Striker's monster in the graveyard, and it's going to be a Sky Striker Ace Ray, which just so happens to be a warrior. Using both the Sky Striker Ace Ray and the Chaka 9 for a link, they're going to go ahead and special summon Nightmare Phoenix. Whoa! Talk about being able to play under there can be only one. Destroying it by the Nightmare Phoenix, using Monster Reborn to special summon a monster with a different type. Zoodiac is on a roll. It did cost him some pretty heavy resources, but it was definitely worth it to get over one of the more powerful cards in Sky Striker's arsenal. Infinite Track Fortress Megaclops is going to use this effect, targeting the Sky Striker Ace Shizuku, and now they'll be able to summon Chaka 9 to their side of the field and attach Shizuku as material. Sky Striker having no responses, that Shizuku is going to be lost, no Ray is going to be summoned this time around, and now Chaka 9 is going to use its effect to be able to special summon to the side of the field, detaching the Shizuku. The monster choice is probably still going to be Ram Ram. That would put Zoodiac back on track to still make the same board, as that monster is going to be summoned. A monster can be placed on top of Chaka 9 and then Dryden can follow up. But Sky Striker has another there can be only one. Whoa! Talk about tipping the scales into your favor. There can be only one is going to send Ram Ram back to the graveyard. And a lot of that advantage that was gained through Pot of Avarice and Pot of Desires is going to be lost due to the card resources had to be used to make a Nightmare Phoenix, and now lost due to there can be only one double twice. Double twice. What am I saying here? Zoodiac is going to follow up with Pot of Avarice. They're going to shuffle in all of the cards in their graveyard back into the deck. They're hoping to draw some sort of disruption to be able to get over there can be only one. And I guess the game plan currently would just be able to make a board. If you can put Zoodiac Dryden on top of Chaka 9, you'll be in a better spot. As if Sky Striker does Widow Anchor the Megaclops, Zoodiac can respond with Dryden to destroy the Megaclops, and while that isn't the best of things, at least your opponent does not have a 4,000 attack monster. You can already see that while Zoodiac loves to play that battle of attrition, Sky Striker and their resources are starting to wear down on the strategy, as they were able to top deck a Cosmic Cyclone to be able to destroy the second there can be only one. They lost a ton of their resources playing through Sky Striker's back row. So Zoodiac Chaka 9 will be used for an Exceed summon into Tiger Modar until Zoodiac realizes that they had to shuffle in those said resources back into the deck. They're going to retract the Tiger Modar to be able to summon our first mistake that our judges caught, and it's a very simple one. The Exceed summon of Zoodiac Borpo is going to be illegal since the monster was already summoned previously that turn. A simple fix would just be summoning Zoodiac Hammer Kong instead of the Borpo on top of the Chaka 9 and then making Dryden. Zoodiac, under the restriction of Megalocops, can only inflict 2,950 life points to Sky Striker. That's going to be the end of their turn, as Zoodiac Dryden can protect the Infinite Track Megalocops from being taken, but then they're all out of disruptions. Sky Striker starting off their turn with their second Pot of Desires. This could go really bad for the Sky Striker strategy. This could go amazing. It really all depends on if they have the heart of the cards. So banishing 10 off of the top of the deck, those cards will never be seen again. You have to start to wonder how many Sky Striker cards are left inside of Sky Striker's deck. Those two additional resources are going to be added, and that's going to be very much needed. That's going to allow Sky Striker to keep up with the card economy that Zoodiac has been having. I count 6 to 6 cards added, if I remember correctly, on both sides, or maybe 6 to 5. But Sky Striker Ace Ray is going to be normal summon and then immediately used for a link summon. Worried about that face down card is going to be a problem, but Sky Striker seems to have no worries as they go straight into Sky Striker Ace Kagari to procure that. Wow, that's going to be really, really bad if they're going to get the card. It's going to be a Sky Striker maneuver afterburners. And here is where Zoodiac has a serious problem on their hands. Activating Sky Striker maneuver afterburners, it is going to target the Zoodiac Trident. And Zoodiacs are going to chain with Zoodiac combo. Now, this necessarily isn't a misplay, but something that you guys can take on your game. Zoodiac Trident could have used its effect to destroy itself, preventing Afterburners from destroying the Trident, which means that Sky Strikers wouldn't be able to destroy an additional spell or trap card. In this particular situation, it does not matter much, as Sky Strikers will only destroy a Fire Formation Tenki, a card that probably would help Zoodiacs more than hurt Zoodiacs at this current time. 100 extra damage doesn't do much, and having a free zone is definitely worth it. Just some information for you guys to have. Looks like Sky Striker is going to follow up with their Widow Anchor to be able to snatch the Infinite Track Megaloclops, and they're going to follow up with a Pot of Avarice on their own. Sky Striker is dominating the card economy scene, and this is actually where Zoodiacs and Sky Striker have that little mini game. Which one of these strategies can get the most card advantage that will equal to who will be able to dominate the other? If Sky Strikers can set up with their disruption cards before Zoodiac can set up with their mega boards, then it's going to be a problem. Same way, if Zoodiac can set up with those huge boards before Sky Strikers can get into their disruption cards, Sky Striker will suffer. So this is definitely a battle of attrition. This is one of those matches, those dog fights that you definitely want to see and want to be in. I also want to take this time out to give a special thanks to all of my judges, my editors, my players. You guys are freaking phenomenal. It takes a lot of hard work, a ton of hard work to be able to produce a live game of this caliber. And between judges giving their remarks, having to redo matches because of mistakes and whatnot, it is a huge process. So again, thank all of you guys for contributing to a live game like this. Sky Striker is going to declare its attack with Sky Striker Ace Kagari and then Infinite Track Megaclops to inflict a ton of damage, 4,500 in total. And Megaclops would be given back to the opponent if Sky Strikers did not have plans with it. It seems that they do. Using both Kagari and Megaclops for a Link summon, they're going to go ahead and special summon to their side of the field a Sky Striker, a Zeke. Now, normally this card has a decent effect. Not sending spell and trap cards, it can only send monsters. But this time around, it was just to get rid of the Megaloclops. You don't want your opponent having a huge walking 4,000 attack monster that could potentially get you back into the game. So now Sky Striker Ace Zeke is going to be immediately used for that Link summon. Sky Strikers have officially out-advantaged Zoodiacs, as Shizuku is going to hit the field, and the effect of Shizuku will resolve on end phase, allowing them to search a Sky Striker spell card that isn't in their graveyard. The only unfortunate thing is that Sky Striker does not have enough spell cards or any spell cards to search. So a simple warning will be passed down to Sky Strikers, but it doesn't even matter as Zoodiacs will concede the match. Zoodiacs being able to start off very strong in the beginning, but Sky Strikers able to whittle down Zoodiac's resources. They were able to secure game 1. Going into game 2, Zoodiac is going to start off with Zoodiac Thorough Play, discarding the Whip Tilt to draw an additional card. Maybe summoning Infinite Track Megaclops isn't the best of ideas. So they're going to look into a different strategy to be able to succumb or get over the Sky Striker Mecha Widow Anchor Afterburners, making Zoodiac Hammer Kong on top of the Thorough Blade. They can then follow up with Zoodiac Chakanai. That would be the best play, I think. No, it looks like they're going to follow up with Zoodiac Borpo. And then a Zoodiac Chakanai. No matter, just getting more Zoodiac monsters to eventually hit the graveyard for Pot of Avarice. Chakanai will special summon Hammer Kong to the side of the field. And now Zoodiac Chakanai will be used for a link into Tiger Mortar. Tiger Mortar detaching the Borpo to attach the Whip Tail to Hammer Kong. And here's one of the interesting effects. Zoodiac Hammer Kong's effect is negated for the duration of the turn, meaning that it will not have to detach its material during the end phase. Tiger Mortar is going to be used as an XE summon for Zoodiac Trident, and here you have it, a standard Zoodiac board. This is going to protect the Trident from being targeted by card effects, as Hammer Kong must be the card targeted, and also it is going to be lost to a Sky Striker maneuver Afterburners. Well, this is the correct play because of course you don't want your opponent to Afterburners your Trident. That's going to be the form of disruption, but it was lost so quickly by Sky Strikers just using it on the Hammer Kong. They didn't even care. It's a card that they can get back in later turns. Sky Striker now following up with the Foolish Burial Goods to send the multi-roll from the deck to the graveyard, Now they have 3 spell cards in the graveyard and be able to pop off with their other Sky Striker effects. The real unfortunate thing about this current matchup is that Sky Strikers can follow up with another Afterburner, or Widow Anchor is Trident forced to destroy itself. Sky Striker is going to do exactly just that, following up with another Afterburner targeting the Zoodiac Trident. And here is another one of those cool quirks for you guys. Using the effect of Trident to destroy itself is going to be really good right here. Unfortunately for Zoodiacs, thinking that is not always performing that, as they're going to lose their Trident and their Call by the Grave. That's going to be huge in the later turns. So following up, it looks like Sky Striker is going to want to summon a monster, but unfortunately, the rest of the cards in their hand are 3 cards face down, no monster being found right here. They're going to go ahead and pass their turn right back to Zoodiac. Zoodiac following up with a Fire Formation Tenki. That's going to get them into that Zoodiac Rat Pier that they ever so covet, meaning that they have a full combo. Normal summoning that Zoodiac Rat Pier and using its effect, Sky Striker may just have a response, and they do inside of Sky Striker Mecha Widow Anchor. They're not only going to negate the Zoodiac Rat Pier being able to send a card, they're going to take control of the monster, meaning that Zoodiac cannot go into additional XE summons without a Zoodiac Barrage or an additional Zoodiac follow-up. They're in a very bad situation. So this is going to be catastrophic for Zoodiac. Their entire turn is going to be completely stymied with 1 Sky Striker Widow, Mecha Widow Anchor. They're going to end their turn on a Rat Pier in attack position. Sky Striker finding a reinforcement of the army as their top deck. That is going to be crucial, as now they're going to be able to get a Sky Striker monster from their deck to their hand. One can only assume it's going to be Sky Striker Ace Ray. Now, I know what you guys may be thinking as well. You may be wondering, where do we get these awesome mats from? Don't worry, for round 2, guys, we have an insane mat I think you will love. It's going to be pretty exciting, and all of these mats are brought to you by Imperium Duelists. You can use the code CaliEffect 10 off to receive 10% off your entire purchase. Mats, sleeves, deck boxes, it does not matter, and the kickback goes to help the channel. Sky Striker is then going to go ahead and follow up by normal summoning Sky Striker Ace Ray to the side of the field. Ray could actually go straight into the Kagari. But no, it looks like they're going to declare an attack. This is actually even smarter, as Ray is a lot stronger than Rat Pier. Zoodiacs are going to take 1,400 damage from that exchange. Ray also has an effect that in the battle phase, she can tribute herself to spell summon a Sky Striker monster from that extra deck. That's going to be used by Sky Striker's side. But it looks like no, Zoodiacs have the response in Solemn Strike. 15 additional life points to prevent Ray from being able to link summon. This is going to be huge, as Sky Strikers is down to no monsters. They're going to open with their second copy of Fire Formation Tenki. Tenki is going to allow them to special summon a monster to their side, or add a monster from the deck to their hand, as you guys should already know. Be well versed with that right currently. That's going to be another copy of Zoodiac Thoroughblade. So Thoroughblade 1600 attack. Sky Striker monsters are not stronger than Thoroughblade, alright, but Tenki actually provides that extra boost that Zoodiacs may need to inflict a little bit more damage. You can assume that Thoroughblade, if it does activate its effect, and it can add an additional resource if there's another Zoodiac monster in hand. Zoodiac Thoroughblade is going to follow. Is the effect going to be used is the big question. The activation of Zoodiac Thoroughblade is not only going to be used, it's going to go through, as Whiptail is going to be discarded to the graveyard, and Hammer Kong is going to follow. Hammer Kong is the only XE monster that can be targeted, but that's going to be immediately disregarded, as Chakanine is going to go on top of Hammer Kong, using the effect of Chakanine to attempt a special summon. But no, it looks like a second Sky Striker Mecha Widow Anchor is going to be activated. Whoa! Zoodiac having their play stymied yet again. Their monster is going to be taken, and they're not going to be able to continue on with any type of plays, as Zoodiac is going to set a card face down. Past their turn, they're going to gain the Chakanine back, but they weren't able to continue on with their combos. Sky Strikers following up. They're going to go ahead and top deck another monster in Sky Striker Ace Rose. That is huge, as Rose can be used for a link summon into Kagari. Kagari can get an Afterburners, and then Sky Striker can continue to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Zoodiac is definitely not out of the woodwork just yet, as if this can completely resolve, it's going to be huge for Sky Strikers. All of that momentum from Zoodiac's side can be completely shifted in favor of Sky Striker. Looking at their next move, I think it would be wise for them to make a Ace Kagari with the Sky Striker Rose. That is going to be their thing of choice, as Kagari is going to be summoned, but it's going to be met with a Solemn Strike. Whoa! This game has been back and forth. It has been fire. Zoodiac taking an additional 1,500 damage, or paying 1,500 life points. That's going to bring them down to 3,600. But Kagari is going to be prevented from hitting the field. Now, some of you guys may wonder, why wasn't Ace Ray summoned off of the effect? Wow, that is crazy! A Cosmic Cyclone! What is going on here? The Cosmic Cyclone is going to hit Sky Striker's last back row. That card is just going to happen to be a There Can Be Only One, putting them down to 2,600 life points, but it's well worth it. Back to what I was saying, Sky Striker Ace Ray actually would not be able to summon itself to the side of the field, because Sky Striker Kagari was never properly summoned. It never hit the field. That's pretty much what Sky Striker or Solemn Strike says when it negates the summon of a monster and destroys it. If it were to negate the activation, then of course Sky Striker Ace Ray could have summoned itself back to the side of the field. A Tiger Motor on top of the Chakanine is going to be summoned, and that's going to attach a Zoodiac Whiptail to the Tiger Motor, and 3,000 damage is going to be the sum total of Tiger Motor, bringing Sky Strikers down to 5,000 life points. Sky Striker top decking a Foolish Burial Goods. They're going to want to get into their critical resource. Metalfoes Fusion is going to shuffle back. Can they top deck another good card? Because again, a Sky Striker monster puts Sky Striker in the driver's seat of winning this game. Reason being is that since there is an Afterburners in the graveyard, that card can be recurred back to the hand. That can get over the Tiger Motor and of course a Tenki. But more importantly, it puts Sky Striker in a position to be able to continuously add cards from their deck to their hand through Shizuku, as well as gain resources from their graveyard through Ray. So this is going to be the moment of truth. Sky Striker is going to draw that ever important card. What exactly is it? It may be the card that they need. Is it going to be another Ray? No. It seems to be a card face down, ending Sky Striker's turn. Zoodiac's not having anything themselves. They're going to attack for 3,000 damage once more. That's going to bring Sky Striker down to 2,000 life points. This is not looking good for Sky Strikers, as their last draw is going to terminate, but they're going to go ahead and scope. We are in Game 3. Zoodiac's being able to force that Game 3 by simplifying the game state in their favor. Sky Striker now has the opportunity to go first, using Sky Striker Ace Ray for a link right into the Shizuku. I think this just might be the end of Sky Striker's turn unless they have any other cards. Shizuku normally signifies the end, but 4 cards face down is actually going to be quite menacing. The effect of Shizuku wants to add a monster or a Sky Striker spell card from the deck to the hand, but it's going to be met with an effect failure, passing it right back to Zoodiac. They're going to start off with normal summoning the Zoodiac Rat Pier. You go, boy! But it's going to be immediately responded by Sky Strikers with There Can Be Only One. Talk about the disruptions. Zoodiac would have been able to go full combo and making the Mega Locops to get over the Shizuku, but There Can Be Only One kind of stops all of that in its tracks. Zoodiac trying to figure out a way. They're going to set 2 cards face down, and I think that's actually going to be the end of their turn. Kind of disappointing to what would be a promising start, but There Can Be Only One has been the bane of this deck's existence. Sky Striker drawing their card. They're going to go ahead and simplify the game state. It looks like they're going to do it into their favor. They're going to attack with the Shizuku. And this just might be Shizuku control, as 1,500 life points are going to be inflicted into Zoodiac, or 1,500. It's going to bring them down to 6,500. Zoodiac is forced to pass their turn yet again. They want to actually stagger their life point reductions. Maybe if they do have a monster, set a monster, and then wait a turn, set a monster, and then wait a turn. They don't want to just keep losing this 1,500 life points, as that's going to put them out of Solemn Strike range and their other card effects that require life point totals. An additional 1,500 is going to be inflicted, bringing Zoodiac down to 500. Now they're going to set another monster in defense and another card face down. The real unfortunate thing about Zoodiac currently is that, of course, they want to simplify the game state, but not in this way. Their deck list consists of Solemn Strikes and Infinite Impermanence in the graveyard, so if they have a monster already presently on the field that isn't going to activate its effect and just attack over their monsters, it's going to be really hard for Zoodiacs to respond. Suzuku attacking into a DD Crow this time, they're going to pass their turn right back to Zoodiac. So I know if you guys may not have noticed, Zoodiac is going to set a monster face down in defense position and pass their turn, but this is actually a lot wider. As you guys can see the whole field, we decided to switch into a different lens and actually completely rehaul the entire setup. So this may be the field of view that you're seeing in the future, everything. Really excited to announce that Shizuku attacking over a Zoodiac Whiptail. Zoodiac is still in a really bad spot. They're going to pass their turn again, smartly staggering those life points using hand traps and monsters to defend themselves, but still trying to get into the cards that they need. This is the best way to play it currently, as Zoodiac is going to take another 1,500 damage. This is going to put them at 3,500, a monster set face down, and then they're going to pass their turn. Can they climb? Can they claw out of this predicament? Sky Striker sitting on a plethora of cards in their hand. They've been taking advantage of just being able to draw cards and feast on Zoodiac having to lose cards in this exchange. Suzuku over to DD Crow. Zoodiac is going to set a card face down and then just straight up pass their turn. This is not looking good for Zoodiac, as Sky Striker can just go ahead and mollywop Zoodiac's life points. There's a Shizuku 1,500 damage yet again, bringing Zoodiac down to 2,000 life points. Is this the fall of one of the best decks of all time? 2,000 life points left. Zoodiac on a rope. Pot of Avarice is going to be used to shuffle 5 hand traps, 4 hand traps, and a wrap here to draw 2 additional cards. Sky Striker not responding with a Shark Cannon. That probably would have hurt a lot. And now Zoodiacs can potentially get back into this game. A well-timed Cosmic Cyclone in a Zoo monster could be very much what this deck needs. Pot of Avarice is going to be the commanding point of this entire game. Will Zoodiac be able to draw well? They're going to draw 2 cards, and their face-down card actually just so happens to be that Cosmic Cyclone. They're going to normal summon a Zoodiac Ram Ram, but Sky Striker is going to respond with another. There can be only one. This game is over. Sky Striker being able to advance, upset a Zoodiac deck that everyone thought was going to win. To be accurate, 76% of people thought were going to win and advance to the next round. This lockdown tournament has more twists and turns. It is completely phenomenal. Thank you guys so much for watching another segment of the TCGPLAYER. I really hope you guys are enjoying your day in this time of need, and I hope you guys are having a great day like I am. As always, be sure to stay safe in these streets, and be sure to watch more of these lockdown games.